Hi all, welcome back. My name is Vivek and I'm going to go through today I'm going to go through the sensor which is called a light dependent resistor or a LDR sensor. Right? In the previous model we have seen another sensor which is a IR sensor. Okay, so let's focus on this LDR sensor. What is this LDR sensor? LDR sensor is basically depending upon the light. Okay, the resistance value changes. The more the light, okay, the resistance value is less. The lesser the light, okay, the resistance value increases. Right. So we will see the practical implementation of how where it can be useful. But one of the practical implementation of LDR is, say for example, in your house you wanted to light an electric bulb or a fan based on whether it has become dark. Okay, so if it has become dark by 6 or 6:30 in the evening time, the LDR will detect that the light has become less. Okay, and then immediately it will throw out a signal so that you can that automatically it will put on your light. Okay, but anyway, though we'll talk about this implementation and then we'll have more of a fun while learning this. But let's focus on this. So this LDR is something looks like this. Basically it has having a 2 pin. This is not the LDR which I will be looking into this tutorial, but this is fairly good enough to make you understand. Okay, so how does it work? So you have this LDR, it has got 2 pins. Now if you see this, the LDR is connected 5 volt over here and to the Arduino output or the analog output or to a digital pin like this. And then through a resistor value it gets connected to a 0 volt. Okay, so this is a typical connectivity diagram. This is how this is like shown. Okay, so this is LDR. Now if you can see over here, this is my LDR. Okay, so one pin goes over here. Okay, so this is my 5 volt, right? And another pin goes through if you can see over here, so this is the another pin which is a green color that goes into a analog output. Okay, that is what over here, right? And then the resistor then through a resistor it is the black wire gets connected to a ground, right? Okay, so whenever the output from the LDR is taken, it ranges from 0 to 5 volt. Okay, but though it is an analog pin, okay, so what it will do, it will read from a value from 0 to 1024. Okay, that is the range of value that we will be reading when we are taking the output from here, right? Okay, so this is how my diagram will look like. Okay, this is my Arduino board. Okay, and this is my LDR. This LDR is connected, this is my LDR and this is connected through a certain circuit diagram, and then I have a 4 output pin. Okay, so what are those 4 output pin? Let me quickly show you that. Okay, so if you can see over here, okay, so I have okay, so let me just see this. Okay, so if you can just see over here, okay, the bottom one, right? So the bottom one is analog output. The second pin, which is an empty pin, okay, that is a digital output. I'm not going to use a digital output pin for this session. Okay, then I have a ground. Okay, and then finally I have the very top one which you can see over here, this one. This is my 5 volt. Okay, so this is how it gets connected. Let me just quickly show you. So the brown one is connected to a 5 volt. Now if you can see over here, okay, so let me just bring it closer. Now if you can okay, so this is my Arduino board, right? So if you can see, the brown one has gone into a 5 volt, right? The red one has gone into ground, and the output I'm going to take it from this pin. Okay, this pin, right, and which is going into a pin number 7. Let me see if the pin number 7 is what I am using in the code, but let us see the code. Okay, so now you understood this. So this is how the code looks like. Okay, so I have to connect my output to a pin number 0, right? If you can see this, the sensor pin is going to a pin number 0. So what I'm going to do over here, I'm going to pull out this output. Okay, so if you can just see here, so this is I'm going to pull out. Okay, and I have on the Arduino board somewhere here there are pin numbers A0 to A7. I'm going to use the very first pin. Okay, so let me just use this pin. Okay, right, perfect, right? So I have just changed my pin, and then my output goes into a pin number A0. What is a analog output pin? Okay, now what is happening is I have something called a sensor value, the output from this. Then I have a setup. Okay, so what in the setup, what I'm going to do is I'm saying my pin 13 is my output pin. This is again my pin 13 on my Arduino Uno board. Okay, so it will just that will act as an output pin. Okay, so this is my setup. So what happens in a loop? In a loop, I am going to read this value, which is from a sensor pin, which is going to come from a A0 pin, and I'm going to check this value. Okay, if this is, as I mentioned, right, 0 to 1024, that is the value this pin will throw out. So I'm saying if it is less than 400, okay, make the digital pin 13 as high, okay, and set the LED on. This LED will be on my Arduino Uno board. Else the pin 13 make it as a low, okay, and then continuously do it in a loop, right? Okay, so great. Now what we will do, we will just quickly open up my code. Let me open up my code. Okay, and let me just show you my code. So the code is LDR sensor. Okay, so let me just open it up. Okay, so now it is open. Let me just, okay, so this is my code, right? So this is sensor output pin, this is the value. Okay, and now let me just, so what is the first thing? Now you guys know what is the first thing we will do. We will burn this code on my Arduino Uno board. Okay, so I'm going to do that. It is doing compiling the sketch, and then finally it will push my sketch. Okay, so let's wait till it does that. Okay, and in the meantime I'll also walk you through this. Okay, so if you see this, the code, right, the pin number 13. Okay, so it is done uploading. Okay, it is all done. Analog pin, it I'm taking the value, right, and then finally I am setting on my LED on and off, right? So let's see this. So serial monitor. Now if you see this, it will start throwing me, if you see this, the value are less than 400. Now if you can see, so if it is less than 400, okay, my pin number 13. Okay, so let me now pull back my this thing. Okay, so now if you see this, okay, so this is my my Uno board, right? So now if you see this, there is a one which is blinking. There is one green light, that's okay, but there is one which is blinking, right? Right, but there is just above that, okay, or below that, if you can see in this picture, there is one light which is which LED which is not having any changes. Now let me just quickly do one thing. Now the value has changed. Now if you see this, right, so whenever it goes down, it is now blinking the LED. Now if you see this, continuously one LED is on. So let me just show you clearly. If you can see, yeah, so one is blinking, you can ignore that. Now I do one thing. Okay, now I have changed the value. Okay, now if you see this, one LED would be continuously on. It has to be on. Okay, so there is a delay of 500 seconds. Okay, so this delay is causing something. Okay, but anyway, let me just do that for you one more time. So one is blinking and another is, let me just hold it for some time, for 500 millisecond. Once I do that, the first LED has to go on. The value is continuously high, so it has to go on. Is it going on or not? Let's see. Let's see that. Let's wait. something wrong because I'm continuously pressing it on. So it has to turn on the LED, okay, which is pin because okay, sorry, right? So if the value is less than 400, then only it will turn on the LED. Okay, so now okay, so I'm very sorry about this. Okay, so now let me change the value. Now if I change the value, okay, and now if I change the value, now if you'll see, okay, let it, okay, so still it is less, it is more, okay, okay, so now it has become, now if you see this, the first light is continuously on, the LED is continuously on, right? If you can see, one is blinking, you can ignore that, but other, if you can see, that LED is continuously on, right? The moment I put on my hands above the resistor, okay, it will again, it will go off. Okay, so now let me do that for you. Okay, now if you see this, it is off. Now if you see this, this is off, this is on, this is off, this is on, right? Okay, so this is how you can use your LED, okay, based on the value of the light that is slow. Okay, thank you for joining this session. We will meet for the next session where we will be talking about the ultrasound sensor.